£10 billion for social housing. That's the number being praised this week, and at first glance, it sounds huge. NatWest announced this £10 billion lending commitment on February 4th. Chancellor Rachel Reeves welcomed it, calling it vital for delivering thousands of affordable homes, and it's being framed as a meaningful response to the UK housing crisis. But here's the real question. Does £10 billion actually fix the housing crisis, or does it just sound impressive, because we've seen this before? In 2021, the government announced a £4.8 billion affordable homes programme. 2 years later, delivery was 30% below target. First, clarity matters. This is not the government building homes. It's a commercial bank offering loans to housing associations and developers, which means the money must be borrowed, it must be repaid, and projects still require land, planning approval, and labour. So the headline isn't delivery, it's potential. Now, to be fair, there's a case for why this matters. Bank financing like this can unlock projects that wouldn't get off the ground when public budgets are stretched. It mobilises private capital without increasing government debt and gives housing associations long-term certainty. For supporters, this is exactly how you scale social housing in a fiscally constrained environment. And this is why the government is praising it. But let's talk scale. In England alone, 1.3 million households are on social housing waiting lists. Homelessness applications hit 64,000 in Q2 of 2024 alone. At current build costs, roughly £300,000 per unit, £10 billion funds around 33,000 homes over multiple years. That's 2.5% of the current waiting list. Helpful, but structurally small compared to a shortage built up since Right to Buy began in 1980. There's also a deeper constraint most headlines ignore. Bank financing keeps the existing housing system operating, but it doesn't change its bottlenecks. Take Greenwich Peninsula. Developers secured funding in 2022. Planning approval took 14 months. Construction hasn't started yet. Social housing still competes for scarce land, limited construction capacity, and a planning system where major applications average 13.7 months for approval. Funding doesn't override those constraints. Another question worth asking is, who does this help immediately versus eventually? Housing associations gain access to capital now. Developers secure pipeline certainty. Construction firms lock in future work. But for the 64,000 households who applied for homelessness support last quarter, nothing changes today. This is a long-term supply promise, not short-term relief. And that points to the real issue. The UK housing crisis isn't primarily a funding problem, it's a delivery problem. Planning delays, land economics, labour shortages, and chronic underbuilding all matter more than headline sums. Until those foundations change, announcements like this risk becoming symbolic progress, not systemic reform. So is £10 billion for social housing bad? No. It eases pressure at the margins and signals commitment from the private sector. But will it fix the housing crisis? Realistically, no. It helps within the current system while leaving the core constraints untouched. And that's the pattern. Big numbers, big announcements, the same structural barriers. If you want clear, no-hype breakdowns of what actually moves the UK housing market and why big headlines don't always mean big change, follow. Because the crisis isn't about how much money is promised. It's about whether the system that delivers homes fundamentally changes.